Showing up as yourself is not optional. It's necessary. Welcome to my series of Grown Women University, where we major in lessons and minor in delusion. I am so excited for this series. I'm so excited to put out all of the lessons and the gems that I've learned from going from girlhood to womanhood, because I truly believe that we are not taught these things. Even though women of our families were not taught these things, they were just put out there in the world to figure them out for themselves. But I'm here to save the day. I'm Eve, your Dean of Growth, and today's lesson is Identity 101. Who are you when you're not performing? Who are you when you're not playing part of the circus? And by the circus, I mean showing up as the versions of you that other people want you to show up as, and not really the versions of you that really is truly you. We're gonna digest that. We're gonna pull it apart, and then we're gonna put you back together. We're gonna pull you apart first, and it's gonna hurt, and it's gonna be uncomfortable. And all of these lessons, I want you guys to take them and really try to understand yourself, because this is a channel for women who are trying to grow into better people, to grow into better versions of themselves, and to grow into the versions of us that we pictured in our head when we were little. So, before I get to yapping, let's get started. I do want y'all to picture the versions of yourselves that you show up in the world. I'm talking about the girl who shows up at work. I'm speaking on the women who show up as put together even though your life is falling apart. I want you to think of those versions. She is very, very real. Sort of, kind of. She is real, but she's only as real if she aligns with a version of you that actually shows up when you are by yourself, when you are alone, when you're in the thick of everything and you have to deal with things alone. You have to be able to align those two versions together to create a better version of yourself, a version where you are able to take better care of yourself and show up in the world as you, rather than this performing version of you. We as women show up in survival mode, whether we are consciously or subconsciously showing up as that. We are so lost in the tasks that have been given to us, and we forget that the biggest task that we have is ourselves. The biggest task that we have to focus on is ourselves, because all of the other tasks, we show up in fight or flight mode. We show up tired. We show up exhausted. Then later on, you realize life has passed you by because you're not taking time to really understand yourself as a woman outside of the titles that we are given. Sometimes it's not fun showing up as that girl. I don't want you to show up with your cup half empty or empty at all. I want you to show up as your full self. I want you to show up as a version of yourself that feels the best, because those are the best times of your life. When you show up as who you truly are, those are the times where you tell your kids about. You just are in a joyous mode. You're not in survival mode anymore. So with that being said, we need to learn the difference between presence and performance. We need to be able to differentiate the two, to be able to show up as our present self, because our performance self is the version of us that wears masks, the version of us that show up in survival mode, the version of us that show up with our cup empty. And presence is the version of us that shows up without the applause. Who are we without the applause, without the titles, without the validation, without all of that? We don't need all of that. You are all you need. The version of you that you have dreamed of when you were a little girl, that version of you is real. She just needs you to unlock her. And the only way you're going to unlock her is by showing up as the true you. And it's going to take a lot. It's going to take a lot of Like I said, we're going to take a lot of unraveling. It's going to take a lot of the death of your old self. And your old self is going to fight. She's going to fight. She's going to sit here and fight you because this is what she's comfortable in. We are no longer sitting in comfortableness. You need to be uncomfortable in order for you to grow. Growth does not come with comfortableness. Showing up as yourself is not optional. It's necessary. You need it because you will no longer, starting today, starting with this video, starting at this moment, whenever time you are watching this, you are choosing to show up as your best self today, not tomorrow. But that's going to take a little bit of unraveling. It's going to take a little bit of understanding who you are and knowing the kind of things that you like, because the things that you liked when you were 16, 17, the things that you liked when you were 13, 14, you're not going to like when you're in your early 20s, late 20s, late 30s. The older you get, the more your mind changes. You're not going to like the same things. You're going to have to be uncomfortable. And uncomfortableness is part of the growth. You ain't got no choice. You really ain't got no choice. Because if you're trying to be the best version of yourself and you're trying to grow into the version of you that you pictured when you were a little girl, you're going to have to be uncomfortable. Uncomfortableness is the only way to growth. It is necessary. So, starting today, what you're going to do every day, 15 minutes is all you need. 15 minutes and a notebook. Sit in silence. Feel. Think. Understand. Write what you're feeling, what you're thinking, whatever it is. Feel, think, understand. Write it down. Every day for 15 minutes. Sit by yourself in silence. No cell phone. Don't pick up that phone. Don't put on no music. Don't put on no background music either. Nothing. You don't need that. You need to be able to sit in silence, because isolation is your biggest and your best friend. Isolation is where you get to learn yourself the best. Isolation is really where you get to the nitty-gritty. The things you were ignoring, you can no longer ignore when it comes to isolation. Isolation will make you understand yourself. Isolation will force you. It's a force. And it's going to be one of those things where sometimes you're going to cry, sometimes you're going to be angry, sometimes you're going to be happy. There is bright sides to this, but it's going to get ugly first before it gets beautiful. So, when it comes to growth, especially as a woman, you have to be uncomfortable. If you can't validate yourself, if you cannot comfort yourself, if you cannot understand yourself, what makes you think other people are going to understand you the best? You were not put in this world for other people to understand you better than you understand yourself. You have to understand yourself first. So, your assignment for this lesson is to sit down for 15 minutes every day. Write down your thoughts. Write down your feelings. Try to understand why you feel the way that you feel. Sometimes we don't take time to really sit down with ourselves and try to understand and really get to the nitty-gritty of things. And this is where you start. This is where you start. That is it for today's lesson. Class dismissed. I'm Eve, your Dean of Growth. Study the lesson. Don't repeat it. I will see you in the next class. Bye.